Why do you keep self-sabotaging? You're not lazy and you're definitely not broken, but you are probably stuck in a cycle that your brain thinks is keeping you safe. Comfort eating, doom scrolling your day away, impulsive spending, and even overgiving to everybody else but yourself is all self-sabotage. In this video, I'll break down the 5 psychological reasons why we do it and exactly how to fix each one. By the end, you'll know how to stop getting in your own way and finally become BFFs with your brain. This one is the hardest one to admit because no one wants to say, I don't feel worthy. But deep down, so many people feel that. You say you want love, success, peace, but when it starts to show up, you start picking apart the good thing, doubting it, ruining it before it can ruin you. Because if you've carried the belief that you're not enough for long enough, happiness doesn't feel safe. It feels like a setup, like a poker round table that's got you looking left and right suspiciously, trying to assume what everyone's motive is and if you're gonna get fooled next. A recent mental health survey found that 6 out of 10 people say they feel like an imposter when something good finally happens. That's not a confidence issue, it's a conditioning issue. You've rehearsed feeling failure so often that success feels off script. The only way out of that loop is to reprogram your self-image. And this starts small with daily undeniable evidence. You have to start catching yourself when the old identity speaks. When your mind says, how are you going to do that? You can pause and answer, I'm going to learn how, because I'm capable of learning. You don't need instant confidence, you just need consistency. Every time you show up differently, you're literally teaching your brain a new version of you. And after enough reps of real action and internal actions, your subconscious catches up and says, okay, this is who we are now. That's the real glow up. Not a trend, not a 5 a.m. routine. It's becoming safe inside your own mind again. Here's something crazy. A lot of self-sabotage isn't about failing or messing up your life. It's about control. Messing up your life could be a byproduct of it, but when life feels uncertain, like when you're trying to break shitty habits, when you don't know how something will turn out, your brain hates that. In a Harvard study on uncertainty, people actually preferred to receive a guaranteed electric shock immediately rather than wait for the possibility of one later. That's how deeply our brains hate not knowing what's next. We'd rather be in pain than in limbo. So when your goals feel uncertain, like a new job, relationship, healthy routine, your brain tries to shock you back into the old predictable patterns just to end the unbearable tension. So it looks for ways to create certainty, even if it's negative, because deep down, it's less scary to fail on your own terms than to risk actually leveling up and then not knowing what comes next. Think about it. You binge the show instead of working on your side project. You pick a fight before the relationship gets too deep. You overspend right after saving that bit of money. It's not just random, it's actually your brain trying to stay in control of the outcome by being the one who caused it. The control paradox. We create chaos to avoid uncertainty because when we're the ones who pull the plug on chaos, at least it's predictable pain. But here's the truth. If you want to break this pattern, stop trying to control outcomes. Instead, control curiosity. This is what psychologists call cognitive reappraisal, changing the meaning your brain attaches to uncertainty. So next time you feel that pull to sabotage, pause and ask yourself, what if this discomfort isn't danger? What if it's data? What can I learn from this? You're training your brain to replace fear with investigation. When you do that enough times, the nervous system learns uncertainty doesn't mean chaos, it just means possibility. And that's where freedom starts, not in control, but in curiosity, the trait of open-mindedness to be more aware. This one is so crafty because it doesn't really make sense logically, but for a lot of people, struggle feels safe. When you've spent years in survival mode or struggling being burnt out, your nervous system wires itself around the chaos. So peace can actually feel uncomfortable. Calmness feels like really suspicious. That's why people who finally get that break often sabotage it. The nervous system doesn't recognize safety yet. In neuroscience, this is called the homeostatic resistance, your brain's way of keeping things the same. It's the same principle that keeps your body temperature stable, but in this case, it's your self-image that's being regulated. So when life finally starts getting good, your brain triggers self-doubt or distraction to cool things down. You might think, why can't I just enjoy when things are finally good? When there's a bit of peace and quiet. It's because because your brain's internal map says struggle is familiar and familiar is safe. According to psychiatrist Dr. Bessel van der Kolk and trauma researchers, your subconscious mind programs around emotional familiarity, not logic. That means even if you consciously want success or love or peace, your body will pull you back to what feels normal. The brain releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline during long periods of struggle. And over time, your body becomes biochemically addicted to that state. So when life does calm down a bit, the body literally craves stress. That's why peace feels like boredom, and why you unconsciously recreate drama, tension, or struggle just to feel normal again. Also, if you're watching this right now, that means you're self-aware. Most people click off when it gets uncomfortable, so props to you. You're literally rewiring your brain by staying present. So how do you fix it? You teach your body that calm doesn't mean danger. Start with 10 minutes a day of what I call calm conditioning. It can be deep breathing, yoga, meditation, self-hypnosis, exercising, or just walking without your phone. Any mindful practice where you are present. When you try it for the first few times, your brain will resist, but you'll get the itch to check your phone and overthink a million things. That's normal. You're detoxing from chaos. Just slowly bring your mind back to the present activity you're doing, and over time, the nervous system starts producing more GABA, which is the neurotransmitter that signals peace and focus and less cortisol. Eventually, your body learns that calm isn't boring. It's safety. Maybe it's even empowering. And when calmness and neutrality becomes your new baseline, your entire life levels up automatically. Leave a comment down below and tell me what's one small action you'll take this week to prove yourself you are changing. This one's hard to believe because it's the kind of self-sabotage society actually rewards. You look like you've got it all together. You're busy, organized, always on it. You're at everyone's beck and call, but inside you're exhausted and even anxious, and one bad day away from a complete mental breakdown. You've tied your self-worth to your output. You call it being helpful, but really you're using overgiving as emotional armor. Because if everyone else is okay, you feel safe. And if they're not, your brain interprets it as your fault. So you fix, you rescue, you overcommit, and then you burn out, wondering why no one shows up for you the same way you do. If you're not achieving, you could feel useless. An attachment study from 2022 found that people with anxious attachment styles are 60% more likely to say yes when they actually want to say no. Not because they enjoy it, but because their nervous system equates rejection with danger. So every "sure, I'll do it" is really your brain saying, "please don't leave me." When you overwork or multitask, juggling all those plates, your brain floods with dopamine and cortisol, which is a short-term combo that feels good because it creates momentum. But it's a lie, because over time, those same chemicals blunt your reward system and you stop feeling joy from small wins and only feel relief when something is finally done. Relief, not happiness or pride. So that's not motivation. That's survival mode with a productivity filter slapped on top. Stanford researchers found that after about 50 hours a week, productivity starts to sharply decline. And past that, you're not actually achieving more, you're just stressing more efficiently. And the crazy part is, this self-sabotaging behavior starts really young. Maybe you were praised for being the responsible one, the achiever, the one who's got their head screwed on right. So your nervous system learned early, if I perform, I'm loved. If I give to everyone, I'm loved. If I rest, I'm invisible. That wiring becomes your adult operating system, the constant need to earn rest, earn peace, earn love. But the truth is, your nervous system was never designed to run on constant output. Your brain is like a battery, not a generator. That's why we need sleep every night. You can recharge it, but it can't create infinite energy. Now come close, because this could change your life. Rest isn't a reward. It's a requirement. You don't recharge when everything's finished. You recharge so you can finish things better. I call this the recharge rule. For every 4 hours of focused work, take a 30-minute intentional and mindful reset. That could be a walk, a breathing exercise, stretching, even just laying flat on the floor. It's not lazy, it's neuroefficient. Why? Because when you pause, the default mode network activates. That's the system responsible for creativity, problem solving, and emotional regulation. Think about it. When was the last time you solved a problem when you was angry and bubbling up inside with racing, spiraling thoughts, compared to when you was calm, collected, and sophisticated? So when you rest, your brain is literally still working, just in the background, connecting dots you couldn't see before. Your brain needs that off time to be even more on. Real productivity isn't about speed, it's about sustainability and quality. And when you learn that, you stop burning out for approval and start achieving from alignment. You confuse safety with comfort. Your brain has one job: to keep you alive, not to keep you fulfilled, not to live your highest potential and grow. And here's the thing, it can't tell the difference between emotional danger and actual physical danger. So when you try to do something new, like start a business, change your habits, set a boundary, your brain's alarm system, which is the amygdala, it lights up like, whoa, we've never done this before. This must be dangerous. That's why comfort eating feels safe, why scrolling gives you temporary calm, why you procrastinate right when you're closest to a breakthrough. It's not weakness, it's just primal wiring all the way back from our caveman days. Neuroscientists call this the homeostatic drive, your brain's instinct to return to the familiar, even if that familiar is toxic, boring, or self-destructive, because familiar equals predictable. And predictable equals safe. So when you say, why do I keep doing this? I know better. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot. It's because your nervous system is trying to protect you from what it perceives as threat. Change. Have you figured out the problem yet? Growth lives outside of comfort, but your brain is addicted to comfort because it feels like safety. Here's how you start breaking that loop. Don't go from zero to extreme. Your brain hates drastic change. It reads it as danger. Instead, introduce what Dr. Andrew Huberman calls progressive desensitization. That means you expose your brain to controlled discomfort in small, repeatable doses. Because, like I'm learning on my hypnotherapy diploma, change takes time, and we go up or down the stairs step by step. Instead of going from sleeping in until 11 a.m. to waking up at 5 a.m. cold turkey, start by going to sleep half an hour earlier than you usually do, or waking up just 15 minutes earlier every few days. Or if you comfort eat when stressed, don't banish all comfort foods. Replace or interrupt one episode of emotional eating with a new safety signal, like a walk, breathing exercise, or journaling. What this does is reteach your nervous system that any discomfort doesn't equal danger. And every time you repeat it, your amygdala, which is like the fear center of your brain, quiets down a little faster, specifically with the new habits that you're trying to do. Your body learns we can do this and still be safe. That's how rewiring actually starts. One tiny safety upgrade at a time. You don't sabotage because you're broken. You self-sabotage because your mind is still protecting the old version of you. But here's the good news. Safety is programmable. When you understand your patterns and start rewiring them, your brain starts to let go. To actually reprogram your subconscious for success, watch my next video right here. It will show you exactly how to do it step by step.